Think about a software organization where engineering is largely kept out of decision-making process. Work flows mostly through top-down direction. Engineering is expected to translate Jira tickets into code rather than solving problems. Success is measured by velocity, and engineering is completely disconnected from the customer. If your day-to-day runs more like an assembly line, you are not an engineer. You are a delivery service that is paid to execute, not to think. And here is the reality. You aren't alone. Roughly 85% of the software industry operates this way because they view engineering as a cost center rather than a value creator. This isn't just a culture problem. It's an efficiency disaster that wastes the single greatest leverage the organization has, the brain power of its engineers. Hey everyone, welcome to Engineerize. I'm Osman and here we explore everything from technical practices to leadership and organizational challenges in software engineering. In this video, I'll start by defining what a true engineering team looks like, a baseline that often reveals more than you'd expect. We'll then identify the key signs of this legacy model, often called feature factory, so you can evaluate how many of these symptoms show up in your own team, and explore why so many companies remain trapped in this inefficient model. Finally, I'll explain what empowered product team actually means and why industry leaders like Netflix, Amazon, and Spotify rely on empowerment to drive real business impact over simple output. As software engineers, we call our groups engineering teams, yet we rarely stop to define what that actually means. So, what is an engineering team really? In a traditional sense, an engineering team is simply defined as a group of specialists who apply technical principles to design, build, and maintain a system. But today, if we look closer at the most successful products in the world, we can easily see that this definition is no longer enough. Today, an engineering team at its core is a value generating unit designed to create measurable business and customer impact, not just output. It isn't just a group that writes code or assembles parts. It's a team that solves problems, drives innovation, and owns the system end to end. This is the exact opposite of the legacy mindset, where engineering was treated as a mere execution center that simply implements what others have already decided. Here is the thing. If you keep engineers out of the decision-making process, you can only hold them accountable for the outputs, never for the outcomes. A modern engineering team is driven by a mission, not just a backlog. That mission lives in the problem space, which forces you to understand the why. A backlog, on the other hand, reflects only one chosen version of the how. Ultimately, a modern engineering team is defined by its mission, its ownership of outcomes, and its deep cross-functional collaboration. Now that we have a clear picture of what a modern engineering team looks like, so how can you tell if you are actually working partly or even completely within a feature factory model? Let's break down the signs. Sign 1. Misaligned incentives, running for different goals. In this model, product teams are rewarded for shipping more features, while engineering teams are rewarded for fast delivery. Here is the question. If they are rewarded for different things, how can they possibly aim for the same goal? Both sides feel pressure, both believe they are working hard, but both stay focused on their own output, not a single shared outcome. When goals are not aligned, product and engineering slowly pull apart. They start seeing themselves as us and them. Instead of running toward the same mission, they chase different wins. And this is where collaboration begins to die. This misalignment isn't just a symptom, it's where the entire problem begins. Sign 2. Engineers never see the problem. In this model, engineers are completely excluded from the problem space. They never get the chance to ask the critical questions like, What is the real problem behind this requirement? What is the customer actually struggling with? Why are we solving this specific issue right now? They never see the problem. They only see the solution handed to them as a finished spec. But here is the reality. Without the problem, without the why, engineering cannot have a mission. It cannot feel real ownership. And most importantly, it creates no leverage. Sign 3. Requirements arrive as orders. Because engineers do not understand the actual problem, they simply become order takers. If your team mostly hears instructions like, take this input and calculate that output, just add this field, change that rule as following, implement the story exactly as it is written. This is literally a task execution, not engineering. In this model, the product team owns the why, defines the what, and even decides the how. This leaves the engineering team only to execute. Here is the main problem. The engineering team is expected to be responsible for the results without being allowed to make the choices. You are responsible for the system's success, but you were never given the power to shape the decisions that created it. Sign 4. Isolated discovery. The silo trap. In this model, product owners optimize only for business concerns, while engineers optimize only for technical concerns. Product spends days debating behind closed doors. Engineering spends days debating technical options without product involvement. By the time they come together, they find themselves merely defending positions and negotiating compromises. So you start hearing things like, we cannot run such a query that way because of our database. Oh, we cannot convince the customer otherwise. We've already said okay. And as a result of this isolation, you get beautiful architectures that move no real metrics and no business impact, and business-driven roadmaps that quietly create performance issues and build up technical debt. Without shared discovery, the true alignment between product and engineering teams becomes impossible. So how do companies end up in this model? It's partly because of old habits and resistance to change, but mostly it's because of an illusion. It's an illusion where companies believe skipping discovery saves time. Removing engineers from the problem space makes things faster. Decisions are clearer when fewer people are involved. We already know the solution, so there's no need to discuss it. Engineering time is expensive, so we must keep them building. But underneath that illusion, you lose the greatest advantage that great engineers provide: their ability to think, to question, to challenge, to simplify, and to find better solutions. So, what changed a traditional engineering team into a modern engineering team? The answer is empowerment. Let's look at what an empowered product team actually looks like. Engineers join the conversation early. They don't wait for a ticket. They're there from the start. They experience the customer's pain. This connects them to the mission, strengthens their sense of ownership, and builds the empathy they needed to create truly great solutions. They help define the problem. They don't just build the solution, they help understand the why. Engineering, UX, and product work together. They combine their different perspectives to find the best solution. They challenge assumptions. They ask questions and look for better alternatives, not just the easiest ones. They own outcomes, not just outputs. This means they care about the impact on the user, not just finishing a task. This is the moment where engineering stops being a service that takes orders and becomes a strategic partner. This is where true ownership and accountability come alive. Here is what I want you to remember from this video. Engineering is more than delivery. It exists to create value and actively shape the future of your product. The delivery service trap starts with broken goals. When product and engineering have different goals, they will always pull apart. Modern teams need real decision making power. This is the only way to be responsible for outcomes, not just outputs. Product solutions are all about balance. A great solution is the result of business needs, engineering concerns, and user experience working together. When these elements come together, they bring true empowerment back to your organization. This leads to real collaboration, better innovation, and a massive lift in the quality of your product. Thanks for watching. I hope this video gave you a clearer picture of the signs of a feature factory and how to move toward true empowerment. Remember, engineering is not here to serve decisions. Engineering is here to shape them. If this video helped you, give it a like and drop a comment. It really supports the channel and helps more people discover the content. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos.